ni hao to everyone, wherever you are in the world. As Gilbert said, I'm here sitting in the Quebec province, home of the Montreal Canadiens, so very exciting time for the hockey fan here. So let me share my screen and then we'll start the presentation. So I'm Eric Desaulniers. I'm the CEO and founder of Nouveau Monde Graphite since 2012, actually. So we went all the way from grassroots exploration to now in construction and developing one of the largest graphite projects in the world and their largest in the Western world, which is very important in the discussion today. So I will be making forward-looking statement. I will share with you my vision. So be aware of that. We are, as Gilbert mentioned, recently listed on the New York Stock Exchange. We just realized a capital raise in the last few weeks, very successfully bringing in very serious institutional investors. So now we're well capitalized with $88 million Canadian in cash, roughly 445 million market cap company as of last Friday. And the two largest shareholders that we have is the Palingers Group and Investissement Québec, which is the financial arm of the Quebec government. Very long-term vision shareholder, the type of investors you want in a journey to develop a large project like ours. So what we do in a nutshell, we're at the right time with the right project in the right location to tap in the big growth in battery material. So the Western world largest and most advanced graphite operation to provide an alternative to the currently 100% controlled market by the Chinese producer. So the Western world automakers, battery makers are looking for an alternative that is cost resilient, good cost structure, but also low carbon footprint. So we're producing carbon neutral material thanks to hydroelectricity we do have here in Quebec that is not only green, but also very affordable to have a very strong cost structure. We have de-risked significantly our operation by operating a phase one demonstration plant since 2018. We're producing flake graphite and we're now starting to produce advanced material this year to provide our customer large quantities of product in advance of having our commercial large-scale operation ongoing. We have room to grow. Both our mining asset and the transformation asset has room to grow to expand much bigger than the current plan to follow the growth of our customer here in the Western world. And we're committed to the highest standard of ESG. Actually developing a mining operation in the Western world, you need to comply with the highest ESG standard, especially in our case, we're very close to the Saint-Michel-des-Saints community. So something very important for us, for our customers, and also our shareholder base. And we're now over 80 specialists in graphite, a lot of experienced graphite operators coming from Imris Graphite and Carbon, SGL Carbon, and even some of the Asian large producer like BTR New Material Group. So we're part of a mega trend, as Gilbert mentioned, both EV, but also stationary energy storage. We're part of that mega trend, and that mega trend is fueled by a bigger one, one where carbon footprint is super important. So since day one of our development, we decided to design an all-electric concept using exclusively hydroelectricity. So we announced actually last week that Caterpillar is our partner to develop the mining fleet. It will be the first all-electric open pit mining operation, and we're super proud to be a partner for Caterpillar to develop those equipments. But not only carbon emission, also the way we are managing our tailings is very innovative, and the way the community is within our project with all the right agreements in place. So it's super important for us to offer a real diversification in terms of ESG footprint for our customer. So 3 phases approach. First, that's the de-risking phase. We built a full 2,000 ton of anode material. That's enough quantities to deliver our customers, get our name out there, qualify our product. make sure that we have a full commercial scale module, then that we will be able to duplicate many times going to the phase 2. So the phase 2, that's the one that will make us the largest graphite operator in the Western world, with 2 projects. First, the 100,000 ton per annum flake graphite production, the Matawinie project. This is fully permitted, it's under construction. We will deliver the project before the end of 2023. And the transformation project, 45,000 ton per annum anode material production, built in one of the largest industrial parks in Canada on the shore of the St. Lawrence River, delivered in Q1 2025. So really that's the phase 2, the commercial phase. And from there, we will grow with our customer with expansion in Europe or US for transformation, and increasing the scale of our production at the mine site. So really following the growth of our customers and capturing the most market share possible here in the Western world. So in a nutshell, Matawinie mining project is the vineyards. It's where you make the grapes. You need a good deposit to build a fully vertically integrated anode material producer. And in Bécancour, that's where we make the expensive wine to be able to do the right chemicals for our battery material customers, to be fully vertically integrated. And then controlling our vertical like that allows us to offer long-term stability in terms of pricing for our customers, and control, you know, the traceability aspect of things, but also the cost and the quality, also making sure we can guarantee the lot by lot consistency of our product. That's super important for our customer. So if we step back a little bit, talk about graphite, there's on our website a very detailed explanation, Graphite 101. Graphite is used in many applications. We split it in 3 main applications. First, lithium-ion battery, because this is the big growth that we see out there. Specialty graphite, so a lot of little volume, but high margin, should it be foil for electronics or lubricants or even pencils. And then the refractory bricks, which is still today the largest graphite market. So there's a lot of explanation on our website in the appendix, Graphite 101, but let's focus on the lithium-ion battery growth. So today there are 210 gigafactories over 1 gigawatt hour that are getting built by customers. So that's a massive growth. Like a few years ago, it was only Tesla and Panasonic in Nevada, and now there's 210. And what is important for us is all those 210 mega plants that are getting built today are all using graphite in the anode. There's a variation on the cathode side. Sometimes we see LFP, sometimes we see NMC or NCA, but we see companies like Tesla and Volkswagen announce a diversification of the cathode chemistry to de-risk the procurement of the battery materials. On the anode side, it's always graphite with an added content of silicon, should you want to increase the capacity, but at a certain limit where you start to have problem on safety and cycle life. So graphite is there to stay at 1.2 kilogram per kilowatt hour in average in every chemistry. So what it does on the market itself, benchmark mineral intelligence are forecasting that by 2025, we will need 2 million ton more of flake graphite in the market to be able to cope with the growth that is happening today. So that's a major growth. And in the Western world, so here it's a new market to build lithium-ion batteries. About the third of the future growth will be in Europe and North America. It used to be exclusively in Asia, the lithium-ion battery markets, and now it's coming to the Western world. So the supply chain need to be developed here. There's no current supply chain. So what we want to offer to all customers is a low-cost product, high-quality, lot-by-lot consistent, traceable, carbon neutral, to offer a diversification in terms of location to the current supply that's coming exclusively from China. So currently where the graphite is coming from, we spoke about it a little bit. So here in Quebec, in Canada, we do have one flake graphite production, Timcal or Imris today. Imris Graphite and Carbon is a French conglomerate. They are operating a flake graphite mine here. It's fully depleted. They announced it already to the community and to the industry that they will shut down eventually. We don't know the date yet, but we know that there will be room in the market for a new entrant like us. What we need to do is the transformation. So currently, to transform the flake graphite into coated spherical graphite, it's only being made in China. Actually, 100% of the spherical graphite comes from China. For historical reason, the market was predominantly there, but also for the fact that in China, there are graphite deposit and great infrastructure to transform it. There's not much other places in the world where you can find the combination of infrastructure and the right deposit in the ground like we have here in Quebec. So we have great graphite deposit, and we have also very low cost energy and the right chemicals right here, an hour, 45-minute drive from our mining operation. It's not the case for Africa. It's not the case for Brazil, where energy cost is very high. So we have a very interesting vertical to build here, and the customer will be there for our product in the future. So supply and demand benchmark is forecasting that by 2023, if you include all battery plants that will come online, and also all graphite projects that will come online in Africa, in China, and our project, by 2023, we are in a supply deficit. So we have a supply deficit of 100,000 tons roughly. So mining is very cyclical by nature. Having such a perfect timing for us, it's pure luck, and we're very fortunate to be the first to get into market in 2023, considering it takes about 8 years to develop a project from scratch like us. We discovered the deposit in 2015, and now we'll be in production before the end of 2023. So great timing for us to get into production in that cyclical business, to come to be producing in the producer market. In the last few years, we were in a buyer market. There was a bit of surplus on the market for graphite and for lithium, but now we're really going where demand will surpass by far the offer. So our project specifically has two locations, as I mentioned. You may recognize here the St. Lawrence River and the Quebec province itself. You see the Montreal Island right there. We are developing the mine site, 100,000 tons per annum. It's 2 hours north of Montreal in Saint-Michel-des-Saints, and the transformation project into Bécancour, an hour 45-minute drive on the shore of the St. Lawrence River on the large industrial park. Big advantage is both sites are using exclusively cheap hydroelectricity provided by Hydro-Québec, state-owned enterprise here. So great advantage to have a carbon neutral production footprint and also low cost operation. So what we do in a nutshell, on the Matawinie mine site, we produce a flake concentrate. We are producing that flake since 2018 in significant scale. We've produced over 1,000 tons of flake, qualified the product with customers. We have sales, we have offtake agreement in refractory bricks and specialty graphite. Now, if we want to sell directly into batteries, we need to do 3 steps: shaping, purification, and coating. Those steps it is a modular process, and now we're building one module for every process step. And that product, in average, last year in China was sold 7,300, roughly, as reported by Roskill. So we have provided our customers with coated spherical graphite coming from our third parties research center here in Canada. And next step for us is to provide more quantities. So we have a shaping unit that we are operating since 15 months already to make many tons. And then the purification unit will be commissioned actually in 1 week to be able to have a nameplate capacity of 2,000 tons per annum total of anode material. So that quantity will be more substantial to be able to not only qualify the quality of our product coming from a lab, but quality of the product coming from an industrial operation of significance, and also qualifying our process and understanding better our cost structure and de-risking the project. So the de-risking phase for us is very important. And the coating unit, the last process step, is purchased already. It is tested at our supplier facility in Europe, and we ordered all the equipment. It's coming on site this fall. So Q1 2022, we will be fully operational with the 3 process step producing 2,000 tons per annum. And that's what we need really to sign the long-term agreement with customers, to find our anchor customer here in the Western world who will make the offtake agreement for the commercial, the phase 2. The phase 2, that's what you see there. So what will be our product flow for the phase 2? The phase 2 will serve, as we mentioned, the lithium-ion battery market, the specialty graphite, and the refractory market. So that will come from the Matawinie mine, 100,000 tons per annum, sold directly 40,000 tons per annum. The larger flake portion, the large and jumbo flakes, sold directly to specialty graphite market and refractory bricks straight out of the mine. And 60% of our production will be sent to Bécancour to be transformed in value-added product, anode material and purified jumbo flakes. And that's where we will generate most of our profitability in the future. So that's the phase 2 product flow. So that's the mine site. So we're now located 2 hours north of Montreal on the Matawinie mining project, very close to the community of Saint-Michel-des-Saints that you see right there, about 5 kilometers northeast of our deposit. So we are operating a phase 1 since 2018 in that location, and now we are building the phase 2. So it's fully permitted, and we are under construction as we speak with a precise timeline to deliver the project in 2023. So that project, something super important, is the low cost profile. We can produce 1 ton of flake graphite at $400 per ton based on our full feasibility study. And the metallurgy is very good, and the size of the deposit and the infrastructure is perfect. Like being located 2 hours from a port is a big advantage in terms of cost. So if your connection is good, we can do a quick site visit. So that's the industrial platform. We have completed already the clear and grub, and now we're building the access road, the 8-kilometer access road to the little town of Saint-Michel-des-Saints. And you saw quickly at the end there where we are operating our phase 1 in a demonstration plan in an existing infrastructure. Another important point of our resource, the resource has the ability to be doubled. So now we have 100,000 tons per annum for 26-year mine life, but we're using only half of the resource. So we have the potential actually to double the capacity and make a bigger project and go to 200,000 tons per annum for the same mine life because of the large scale resource. So we have this ability to grow with our customer. And one other big important factor of our deposit is the great metallurgy. When you crush, grind, float, a very simple process, you get very good product at the end. And as I said, it's great to have those deposits, but what is important in Quebec is we can transform the graphite into battery material, and that's a big advantage. So we have the research center, the know-how, we have the funding from government, we do have low-cost hydroelectricity, but also the chemicals supply. So that's what we have found in Bécancour Industrial Park. So you see here one of the largest aluminum smelter in North America, ABI. They are located in that industrial park for the same reason, access to low-cost hydroelectricity. So now we are co-located with All-In. All-In is one of the largest chloralkali supplier in the world. And we are located in their facility to build the phase 1, to have access right on site to the chemicals, hydro, and also an hour, 45 minutes from our mine site. So great infrastructure for us to also be able to return our used impurities, used product, the byproduct from our purification process, return it to All-In, who can handle it in their process and regenerate the chlorine supply that we need. So great closed loop with our chloralkali supplier. So that's why we've purchased across the street from All-In the land to build the phase 2. So that's a 200,000 square meter land where we are building the phase 2. So now we have made a scoping study internally. We're doing a full feasibility study on the transformation project, and the construction will start in the second half of 2022. So mine site under construction and transformation plant like that will start construction second half of 2022. Great location for infrastructure to build a low-cost operation. So that's what we do. Phase 1, phase 2, it is ongoing, will be delivered to our shareholder in the time frame we mentioned. And then from there, we will grow with a phase 3 and beyond to follow the growth of our customer. And to do that, we need the right partnership. We do have all the technologies here in Canada to be very successful at developing that process, but also we needed to recruit the right talents overseas. So we've recruited German talents from SGL Group, Asian talents from BTR New Material Group, and also local talents from Imerys, who were operating the flotation circuit here, the graphite mine, since 30 years. So great basin of talents to build those projects. We have now 6 PhDs, 3 master degrees, 16 engineers in the company, and we have all the agreements in place with local supplier of technologies. So next 12 months, last slide, is what you should expect from Nouveau Monde Graphite. We are starting to deliver in significant scale product to our customers. We are in advanced negotiation with anchor customer for a third of our future production of anode material. So this is the cornerstone supply agreement, should be in place in the upcoming 6 months, I would say. And we are running the construction of the Matawinie mine and delivering a full feasibility study on the transformation project. So this is ongoing, very active. You'll see a lot of news flow, and actually the customers are super interested by what we have to offer. So that's pretty much what I had to say today, Gilbert, and I'm available for the Q&A section.
Thank you, Eric. Indeed. So there are quite a few questions here. So I just will address some of them. So the first one here from CK Wu here is asking, why will you do a public offerings at US $7.50 when you're trading above, well, above $12 on NYSE?
Actually, last week we did, or 2 weeks ago, we did a public offering indeed. We were trading around $9 when we issued the shares at $7.50. Yes, we were not pleased by the price itself. We were pleased by the composition of the shareholders. We had about 20 high quality institutional investors in the book. So that's the good portion. Obviously, we need to look ahead where we will go thanks to those shareholders who will keep building a position. So that's what we wanted. We wanted an institutional base in the US. The interest is strong in the US. We were a bit disappointed by the pricing indeed. but we cannot have everything. And now we are looking ahead, fully financed. So it was pretty much the last pure equity raise before we do debt per se for project financing. So that's what we're working on with Quebec government, governmental agencies where we're purchasing our equipment in Europe. So we're negotiating cheaper debt. So we don't. So the idea is really to avoid having to do again a pure equity raise like that as a in the public market. So now we're fully financed and we need to look ahead.
Sure. The next one from Brandon here is that this is straightforward. What's your production timeline now, and where are you able to produce? What sort of also any sort of risk involved for any potential delay on that timeline?
Yeah, so we have a phase 1 and a phase 2. So the phase 1 will be fully delivered from mine to market in Q1 2022. We'll be able to produce 2,000 tons per annum of coated spherical graphite. And the idea is really to de-risk one commercial module that then we will duplicate many times. The phase 2, it's 100,000 tons before the end of 2023 that will be in full production, and 45,000 tons for the transformation that will be delivered in Q1 2025. But in the meantime, before having those projects, we will have significant quantities to de-risk our project and our marketing and making sure that the customers are waiting for the large quantities that will arrive in the next few years.
Good. And the next question coming from Max here, he's asking an industry question. He's asking, how come there are not as many graphite mines being built in the Western world?
Yeah, I mean, graphite is a little overlooked in the Western world. Historically, we were able to produce, lithium, nickel, cobalt from Africa, but even here in Canada, we had some cobalt production. Graphite, it's a different market, it's a different animal. It's exclusively being transformed in Asia. So I think no one really focused on it for some reasons, and no one is able to build the cost structure in Europe or in Africa or elsewhere as we can do it here. And the market wasn't there historically. The lithium-ion buyers were all like Panasonic, LG Chem, Samsung, SK Innovation, CATL. It's all Asian suppliers. So there was no reasons to build in the Western world such a fully vertically integrated before. But now all those players are coming in America and Europe to build capacity alongside the car maker themselves, who are building their own cell capabilities, and other startups that are also building new production line of cells. So now we need this. Before it was too early. In the future, we'll see. But now it's the right time ever to build that capacity.
Sure. Another one here is from the Chinese channels here from Wen Zhao. He's asking if you have any plan to list your shares in the senior stock exchange, the TSX.
Yeah, our senior exchange now is really the New York Stock Exchange main board. That's where most of our trading is happening. In reaction of our financing, we see it like automatically after we did the financing, we have pretty much 6 times the volume on the New York Stock Exchange. I would think in the future that's really where the senior exchange will be. Obviously, we will most probably apply for an uplisting coming from the venture to the TSX or other senior exchange that we have in Canada. We are thinking about it.
And this one also coming from CK, who is asking, have you signed any offtake agreements yet?
Yeah, we do have an offtake with Traxys. Traxys is a large trading house based in New York with a global presence, and they are great partners since we started flake graphite production. So we have a 25,000 ton offtake with Traxys, and we do have direct sales with customers in Germany, in Japan, and in the US. Thanks to our marketing team, who were previously very active in the market at Imerys or at SGL Carbon. So we have experts who know where to place that. So what we're working on now is an offtake agreement with an anchor customer for the transformed material. So for coated spherical graphite directly with the battery maker. So that's our focus now for the next few months.
Okay, next one coming from two different persons, but asking similar question. They are from Jackson and Mal. They're asking if you need to engage with any local First Nation communities at all.
Yes, you need always to, in Canada, anywhere you are, there was a First Nation before. So that's the reality, and that's super important to include them in the project. That's what we do. We have 2 agreements in place, a framework agreement and also a development agreement with the Atikamekw First Nation. They are located roughly 100 kilometers north of our deposit. We are actually at the boundaries of, southern Quebec, where there's a lot of white presence since a few hundred years. And also at the going north, the Atikamekw, that's their land where they live. So yes, we are hiring Atikamekw. We are giving them contracts. Actually, the access road and all the clear and grub we did recently was an Atikamekw firm doing it. So, you hear the news these days. There's a lot of reconciliation to be made between our federal government or provincial government with all First Nation across Canada. And that's what we need to do as well as a corporate. We need to make sure we are sensitive to every discussion around that sense. But our project is fully permitted now. We have made all consultation and we are under construction. So I must say legally, we are building the project for sure. But, we need to maintain a constant dialogue with them to include them within our project.
This one coming from the Lexi from the Chinese side here, he said, asking about your funding, how much more capital do you need for all the development work until production, and how are you going to plan to raise those funds?
Yeah, so for the Matawinie mine, that's the next project financing we'll do. From the proceed of last week, we will spend roughly 25 million US in the CapEx already. The total CapEx in our feasibility study is 225 million US. So if you remove the 25 that we have already in the bank for that project, so it's around 200 million US that the package that we'll work on in the next few months. So the idea is Q1 2022, we will land a project financing package that includes debt, a little bit of equity for sure, and also governmental help, and potentially our anchor customer also participating in the discussion. So that's really the next few months of work on our side.
Okay. This next question coming from Elliot Holden here. How do you compare with West Water Resources projects in USA, where they're building the processing facility in Alabama? Do you follow this project at all?
Yeah, but I know pretty much all potential competing projects. I really don't like to say bad things about my colleagues. So we feel very comfortable with the mining project, low cost operation. We have demonstrated that we can float our project in the last 2 years, like float our product, and we can make a sellable flake graphite product, which is important. You need also to sell the flake graphite. You cannot only transform 100% of your production into coated spherical graphite. So we have demonstrated the strength of our mining foundation, and then now we're demonstrating the strength of our low-cost operation thanks to our hydro and our specific location here in Quebec province. So I wish them very good, but we're very comfortable with the cost structure that we have developed and the quality of the project we have designed, and we need more products. I wish them very good.
Sure, and I would take one last question here. This is from Christy Lim on the Chinese side. He's asking, what's your thoughts on the synthetic graphite? Will that take away any market share of the existing graphite market?
Yeah, synthetic graphite is competing with natural graphite since 100 years. And there's markets where natural graphite is 100%, and there's other markets, synthetic graphite is 100%, and there are markets where there's a competition, like graphite electrodes for arc furnaces is 100% synthetic, refractory bricks, it's 100% natural. Anode material for batteries is roughly 50-50. And there are advantages, disadvantages of both. The big advantage of natural graphite is one, cost, and second, carbon footprint. The cost, as I said, building a mine takes a long time, but once it's built, you control your cost and it's very stable in the future. And we can produce it carbon neutral because Mother Nature already graphitized the carbon in the ground. So we just need to extract it, round it, coat it, sell it. For synthetic graphite, it will always be much more expensive. First, because they need to purchase needle coke. And it's the same very specific needle coke that you need to have for graphite electrodes. And it's competing for the supply for transforming the powder into anode material as well. And that needle coke is very volatile in pricing. There's not much producer in the world. No one is building a coker in the oil industry just for the little residue of coke. So this is at risk. The expert forecast that in the next 10 years, the cost of synthetic graphite will just go higher. That's one point. And second point, energy cost is very important in the structure, and carbon footprint is very bad for synthetic graphite. In fact, is one of the most dirty battery material is synthetic graphite in the battery. So in the future, there will be competition. It may take some market share. It's already a blend. We see companies like Tesla and Panasonic used to use predominantly synthetic graphite, and now they use the majority as natural graphite because they wanted to reduce cost and carbon footprint. So bring it to market as us at low cost structure in size and available for many years, and the customer will be quite happy to have this product.
So thank you, Eric, for sharing your insight with us in the graphite industry, and thank you for answering all the questions here.
Super, thank you very much. Very appreciated for the invitation, Gilbert.